guys know how awful an eyewitness is? Like, an eyewitness, for people that go through the court system and see this and live this life and deal with eyewitnesses regularly, they will openly tell you that one of the worst things you could ever count on is an eyewitness. And it's a very tough concept to accept. Because all of history, everything that we know, someone saw it and kept telling, like before you could ever take pictures or videos or even write it down, like before words existed and pens and papers and pencil, there was stories. And it was someone saw, someone experienced. And so we base quite literally our foundation upon this. And then to find out that an eyewitness is so bad, it's a little bit difficult to accept. Can you agree? Like, as I tell you that an eyewitness is one of the worst things that you can have to know what happened. Would you agree with that? I doubt it. I doubt it, because you'd have to look at yourself and go, well, if I told someone what I just witnessed, would I be accurate? And you think that you would be. And therefore, you refute the premise of how poorly of a witness an eyewitness is. However, it'll get a man hung. Nothing will get a man hung more surely than having somebody say, he did it and I saw him. And nothing will save a man from being hung more than somebody saying, I saw it and it wasn't him. Nothing. All right, great. So let me just tell you my own personal experience. I wish this happened to everybody. If this was mandatory in school, this would be so helpful to the world. But I was in something, physics class. Mr. Derry starts the class. It had just started. He's at the front of the class. We're all at our desk. We're facing him right. You guys know the drill. Door opens. His aide, who we knew, who was there every single day. We knew her first name, her last name. We knew what car she drove. Points a gun at him and pulls the trigger. Revolver goes around. I was a gun expert. My dad and I had every kind of gun you possibly could. Revolver goes around. Cylinder one time. Mr. Derry drops to the ground, dead. She walks out the door. We're all in shock of what just happened. And you gotta understand, Columbine was in 1998. And like this experiment would not be done now. But back in 1994, when this happened, we didn't know what to do. Mr. Derry nobody screamed. Nobody jumped up. Nobody ran to his aid. Nobody called 911. Nope, we froze. It was only a beat or two, a second or two, and then he gets up. He stands up, so we realize he's fine, something's going on, and he tells us so without wasting any time. He tells us so right then, pick up your pens and write down everything you know about the person that just shot me. And then he tells us more specifically, write down what kind of shirt they were wearing. What color was it? Was there a design on it? Was it long sleeve, short sleeve? Was it crew cut, V-neck, turtleneck? Specifically their shirt. Write down what kind of hair they have. Now, some of these are going to be easy. We knew her. She was his aide every day. We knew what kind of hair she had. We knew about how tall she was. We knew all sorts of things about her because we knew her. What kind of shoes was she wearing? Earrings, necklace, tattoos. He starts going through these things. And then we start reading that, and it was unbelievable, the different opinions that we had. It was unbelievable. What little we all agreed on, and we had just seen it. And I just remember from a personal standpoint thinking, what a bad job my classmates did. What a bad job of telling stories with accuracy my classmates just did. And then she walks in the room. And what I had written down that I was so sure she was wearing, she was not. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it to the point that I didn't believe it. I thought she went outside and she changed. I was that sure. And I tell you that because I told you guys a story yesterday. I told you a story about a police officer that pulled me over for a moving violation and made the statement to me that I had jumped a curb. And I told you guys, not only did I not jump the curb, there isn't one. And I told you, moreover, whether I violated an instruction posted on a sign or not is subsequent to the idea that the officer, from his vantage point, could not see the sign. That if I got to court and I merely asked him, did you see the sign? He would have to say no. And therefore I thought I could beat him. Made a video on this. It did just fine. I had a neighbor that saw it. And the neighbor gave me a ride to the studio here today, so we passed the scene of the crime, and he believed it was a curb. He believed what I was certain I came and told you guys. There was not even a curb there. He believed was a curb. And I will share with you, I don't actually know the definition of curb. I just know what I think a curb is. I think if it's got any kind of a slope and or a ramp, it's not a curb. I think a curb is designed to stop. That's what I think. I don't actually know. There was something there. But it was not what I know as a curb. It was a sloped ramp. Okay. I then also told you that the sign in question, the sign's the entire thing. There's nothing about this that's illegal. There's nothing about this that's a violation of anything unless there's a sign instructing you otherwise, like it's required by the government. Then not only is there a sign, that there's a clear and visible sign. That's their job. And I told you that I didn't know the law, but I did think it was strange because the sign was here and the stop sign was way up here. There's about 30 feet in between. And in my own experience, you put the sign on the same post. The stop sign on a post, and underneath it, you put the directional sign. And in this case, that wasn't done. And therefore, if you had missed the directional sign, you pull up to the stop sign, you now can't see it. Like you had to see that back and then make the connection to stop. And perhaps that's permitted. I don't know what it is. I'm just sharing with you that was the scenario that I was at. And then I went back today, and none of that is true. Can you believe that? I went back today. It is on the same post. It says stop, and right underneath it, it says only, and the direction. And much like that day in Mr. Derry's class where I thought it was a spoof and that she went out and she changed her shirt and came back in to make all of our reports wrong, I really thought that was the right answer. I swear to goodness, I think they moved the sign. I think the sign was 30 feet away, and they have moved the sign and put it on the same thing, and they just happened to do that between yesterday and today. I actually made that statement to the person driving me when I realized what a fool I sound like. Like, it's very hard as a human being to admit when we're wrong. Can we agree on that? It's very hard to be self-aware. What's the strength in it? Is there a strength? Are you better off? Is your life going to be better if you can be aware? I mean, there's another expression, boy, I'll tell you how true it is, which is ignorance is bliss, which is just to say some really bad things that could hurt your feelings. If you never knew about them, you'll never get your feelings hurt. It's a very interesting concept. It's amazing to me and will dumbfound you that on occasion, rarely, but on occasion, Chael P., the smartest guy you know, is wrong. It would appear that I am in this situation unless the guy moved the sign.